Let's talk about pricing methods. The objective of this section is to examine the three major pricing methods that firms employ. Once a firm has developed its pricing objectives, it must select a pricing method and strategy to reach that goal. Two factors are important to firms engaged in setting prices. The first is recognition that the market, and not the firm's costs, ultimately determine the price at which a product will sell. The second is awareness that costs and expected sales can be used only to establish a price floor, the minimum price at which a firm can sell its product without incurring a loss. Using cost-based pricing, the simplest method, the seller determines the total cost of producing or purchasing one unit of a product. The seller then adds an amount to cover additional costs and profit. The amount that is added is called the markup. The total of the cost plus the markup is the product selling price. Markup pricing is easy to apply and is used by many businesses, but it has two major flaws. The first is the difficulty of determining the best markup percentage. If it is too high, the product may be overpriced for its market. If it is too low, the seller forgoes profit it could have earned by assigning a higher price. The markup pricing separates pricing from other business functions. The product is priced after production quantities are decided on, after costs are incurred, and almost without regard for the market or the marketing mix. Cost-based pricing can also be calculated through the use of break-even analysis. The break-even quantity is the number of units that must be sold for the total revenue from all units sold to equal the total cost of all units sold. Total revenue is the total received from sale of a product. The costs involved in operating a business can be broadly classified as either fixed or variable. A fixed cost is a cost incurred no matter how many units of a product are produced or sold. A variable cost is a cost that depends on the number of units produced. The total cost of producing a certain number of units is the sum of the fixed costs and the variable costs attributed to those units. Figure 12.3 graphs the total revenue earned and the total cost incurred by the sale of various quantities of a hypothetical product. Rather than basing the price of a product on its cost, companies sometimes use a pricing method based on the level of demand for the product, called demand-based pricing. This method results in a higher price when product demand is strong and a lower price when demand is weak. To use this method, a marketer estimates the amount of a product that customers will demand at different prices and then chooses the price that should generate the highest total revenue. The effectiveness of this method depends on the firm's ability to estimate demand accurately. A firm may favor a demand-based pricing method called price differentiation if it wants to use more than one price in the marketing of a specific product. The use of dynamic pricing, which raises prices during periods of high demand, is growing, especially for non-traditional car ride-sharing services like Uber and Lyft. Price differentiation can be based on such considerations as time of purchase, type of customer, or type of distribution channel. For price differentiation to work, the company must be able to segment a market on the basis of different strengths of demand and then keep the segments separate enough so that the segment members who buy at lower prices cannot sell to buyers in the segments that are charged a higher price. Compared with cost-based pricing, demand-based pricing places a firm in a better position to attain higher profit levels, assuming that buyers value the product at levels sufficiently above the product's costs. In using competition-based pricing, an organization considers costs and revenues secondary to competitors' prices. A firm that uses competition-based pricing may choose to sell below competitors' prices, slightly above competitors' prices, or at the same level. Competition-based pricing may be combined with other cost approaches to arrive at profitable levels.